Hi, my name is Leonard Adair, and I'm here in the studio with Mr. Robert DIXON of the famous group, the Salem Travelers. And we're just going to kind of talk a little bit today about the Salem Travelers and some of the groups that they've sang with. We're going to talk a little bit about the album that Robert did with the group, Heaven is My Goal. We worked on that project. We're going to talk a little bit about that project. But right now, I'm going to start it off with Robert DIXON of the Salem Travelers, and let Robert tell us when he came to the group of the Salem Travelers.
In 1967,
1967.
I was a young man then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when I joined the group, the members was Arthur Davis, Chester Feimster,
Mm-hmm.
Samuel Hatchett, William Ford, and Talman Thomas.
And Talman, right.
And we would start the first recording we did was with Halo. They had did a couple of with Halo before I got with them.
Okay.
The first album we recorded was with Chess Records.
With Chess, that's right.
With same group, same fellas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And after that, the group was organized in 1959.
Okay, that's when they first started. Okay.
It was organized at Salem Baptist Church.
Okay.
Mahalia Jackson was a member.
Right.
And,
Mm-hmm.
It was the first person to become a part of the organizer was Chester Feimster.
Chester,
The one
right.
that sung "Heaven Is My Goal."
Yeah, right. God rest his soul. Yeah.
And we did a lot of traveling, and we started off in a Cadillac with 6 guys and all their luggage and equipment.
Yeah.
But we was young then, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
When they said let's, I said go.
Let's go.
Yeah. And it was little problems here and there with segregation or whatever.
Oh
but
yeah.
we never run into a lot of serious problems, but one time, and
Mm-hmm.
we got out of there.
You got quickly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I was a young man, and I enjoyed doing it. And then later on, there was members who joined the group was Jesse McDaniel.
Jesse McDaniel.
He's there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Michael Newman,
Mm-hmm.
guitar player.
Right.
Clarence Poole, which was my cousin, he was singing with the Brooklyn All Stars at the time, but he
Okay.
joined
Yeah.
us to sing top.
Yeah.
And that was Earl Moore was bass player. Greg Harris, a lot of affectionately known as Bobo.
Bobo.
Yeah, and who else was that? Well, that's about the ones I can remember right now.
How many of the original guys that sang with the group is still alive today?
That's William Ford, the guitar player,
Okay.
and Talman Thomas, the original bass player,
Oh yeah.
and myself.
Okay. That was Talma was the tall, real kind
Real
of
tall
tall.
with the
Yeah.
played the bass.
Played overhand. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
the only one I saw do that.
Yeah. He, that was one of the unique things about the Salem Travelers. I remember years back, my dad had a church down on Kidsey.
Mm-hmm.
And many times he would have the Salem Travelers there with the Love Singers, even, the Love family, the Love Singers.
Yeah.
He would have Reverend Dowdy there.
Yeah.
Big Dowdy,
Yeah.
Many times with the Kelly Brothers was his initial group that my dad started with.
Okay.
And from there back, actually, I can remember going back from about the 50s, if we go back to the 50s. At that time, you could turn the radio on and you could hear gospel music all day on the radio.
Right.
Rudy Roach was one of the DJs that was
Right.
on there. I remember as a kid, Rudy Roach.
Bill Doc Lee.
Bill Doc Lee, that's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I remember those days, and
Mhm.
back then groups would get up on Sunday morning and go do a live broadcast.
That's right.
Yeah, we look forward to that like we did every, you know.
Yeah, right, right.
And all the groups that would come to town to sing, the Mighty Clouds, the Violinaires, all those groups, when they had a program in Chicago on that Sunday morning, they had to go.
They had to go and make that
Yeah. Yeah.
broadcast, yeah.
Yeah, and then it turned out to be, well, it's been 48 years ago when I joined the group.
Yeah.
And,
Now you guys came, the Salem Travelers became almost regulars on that program, Jubilee Showcase,
yeah,
right?
we did it a lot of time. People would be calling after the show was over and saying, "I saw you on TV this morning. You made it back home this quick?" No, I was already at home. That was
That was a rerun.
yeah, it's a tape or a rerun. But, yeah, but I mean, I've enjoyed it every minute, every second, and every hour.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing a little stuff, you know, not like it was, but.
Right.
And one of the most memorable things that happened was when Martin Luther King got killed.
Yeah.
The Salem Travelers, the Pilgrim Jubilees, and the Mighty Clouds was performing in the Apollo Theater in New York.
Up in New York. Yeah. Okay.
And that's when we had never sung this song in person, but Arthur Davis chose to sing "Give Me Liberty or Death." It's on one of our.
Oh man, that's one of my
Yeah,
favorite songs. My God.
It was chaos, man. Yeah.
That song, Robert, is right now at the Times. Right now, that song. You could play that song right now on the radio right now, and it would fit right in with the times.
And we did another one when we first got with Chess. We got kind of demonstration. Was "Tell It Like It Is."
Tell it like it is. I remember that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and recently, I've been singing with the Skinner Brothers.
Yeah.
We did a CD, and it's called "Return of Robert Dixon and the Original Salem Travelers."
Right.
We got some pretty nice songs, if I have to say so. But
Oh, definitely, man. Most definitely.
Yeah.
And I can remember we worked with you guys on this project. If you can remember back, we recorded in P&S Studio, Paul Serrano, you remember?
Yeah.
And we did this thing called Heaven Is My Goal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about, tell the audience out there a little bit about the Heaven Is My Goal? Because you guys had already recorded that song prior to that. You had already been doing that song.
Yeah. But Chester, my late great, we was black brothers, man. Really.
Right, yeah.
I love him today, and I love him forever. He came up with the song, and we did it one way, and then finally we got rehearsal, and we decided to like put a little more something in it. And you know, meantime, we was doing "Children of the Spirit." You had wrote it.
Right. That song, Children of the Spirit. That's right. That was one of the songs on that album.
Right. And, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you just started, people, wow, yeah.
Yeah, when it hit the air, man, with that bass, Bobby, my bass player, Bobby Mosley, is out in California now. And when that thing comes on, that bass hook.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's right. Man, that hook just grabs you, and I've been wanting to call the radio stations and have them to play that version of it, because that bass, man, when Bobby comes on, hit that bass lick, oh man, that just drives that song. And then we also had Chris Righteous.
Yeah. He just happened to be there. He wasn't. There. He had rehearsals with the.
Right on the spot.
And somebody said, "Man, why don't you?" And he said, "How it going?" And I told him it sounded like another record.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people loved it.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, we just got more bookings and more people concerned about the group than ever, I think.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And it's still, we sang it still, and every time we.
Now, you say Chester was the actual one that actually wrote that song?
Right.
Wow.
You know, I think he heard something similar to that with a group somewhere else, but then he said, "Let's sing it like this." Let's sing.
Man, and y'all was killing it. Y'all was killing it.
Yes, I loved it. Yeah.
Well, you've been the point man. You sang out front, the lead. You've sung in the background.
Right.
You've pretty much been
Yeah, I tried to
all
do
parts.
Yeah. And then, like I say, Skinner Brothers did the last thing with us and came out pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just glad to be still around to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. I see you got an album cover there in your hand.
Yeah,
there.
this
Can you
this
tell me a little bit about
this
that
was
album?
this was done in Nashville Records.
Nashville, okay.
Yeah, and it's songs Stand Up and Testify, done by the bass singer Sam Hatchett.
Okay,
Yeah, Take Me was done by me, and Help Me to Run This Race was me.
okay.
The Man Lifted Me, and Chester Feemster did I Don't Know What It Mean to Be a Stranger, Touched by the Spirit, and Let the Church Roll On.
And let the church roll on, huh?
You know,
Wow.
we got to do some things. And Jesse McDaniel was with a group called Together, and they did the music basically. But we had Big Mike Newman
Yeah, Big Mike. Okay.
playing the guitar, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Bobo, Greg Harris with the drums, and Robert Earl Moore
Yeah.
was there at the time playing the bass.
And playing the bass for you
Yeah,
guys. Yeah.
and then I've enjoyed it. When I think back, it wasn't really that exciting to me at the time. I just was doing it because that was something to do, and
That's
I liked
something-
doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
But after I think
Enjoy it.
back, I said, that was pretty.
Yeah.
As the young people say, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah,
Just young
and-
guys did,
Yeah,
man.
the Apollo Theater and like all that. New York, Bahamas. Sam used to say, "We've been places that other people will never see unless it's on a postcard."
That's what Sam.
They say that,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He
right,
was up.
yeah. Is Sam still living today?
No,
or
Sam is passed.
He's passed too.
Arthur Davis passed.
Okay, yeah.
Jesse McDaniel, he
Wow.
passed. Clarence Poole, the top singer, he was my cousin. He passed.
Right, right.
And but everybody else, I'm basically the only one that was there. They called me the last of the originals.
The last of the originals.
Yes.
Well, man, I'm glad that because you had a little bout with an illness, but
Right, yeah,
but
yeah.
you're all right now. Thank God.
God got my back, man.
Yeah.
And I might get happy up in here if we keep talking about all this.
Well, get happy then, brother.
No, I
That's
better be
all
cool.
right.
Suffering with that, that thing I told you.
Yeah. Mm. Wait, what do you call it?
CRS.
CRS. We'll tell you guys what that means a little bit
In
later.
person. Yeah, you can't say that here. But I'm just thankful you guys invited me out to do this, man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And, hope
well,
we can
look to be
kind of
doing
like,
some. Yeah.
write me another one of them good songs. when you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
time.
we worked on that project, Children of the Spirit. I never forget
right.
that.
Yeah.
A Motherless Child also was on that album.
Yeah.
We did that on I think the One Way label with Opie Reese.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
And Brother Reese passed on about a couple weeks ago.
Sure did.
Yeah,
sure did.
yeah,
And
he passed on.
I had saw him, and I always do funny things and say stuff, but he didn't know who I was. I saw him walking, and I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, sir, would you please give me a couple dollars?" And he just kind of looked back and said, "I don't have it." And I say, "You didn't even check, man." He said, "I know what I got." Then I say, I'd let him know who I was. He said, "Man, you still crazy." But he was kind of stepping a little faster.
By a couple of dollars, it is in your pocket.
You didn't even check, man. How you know?
That's a good one there, Robert. Yeah. And Robert Kelly moved back from Florida. He's back in Chicago now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, from the Kelly brothers. For a number of years, we started out when we started out the One Way Records. That's how you guys came to me through One Way.
Right.
Opie Reese. I remember back after I had left the Pilgrim Harmonizers. I was playing guitar for Cleve Minner and the Pilgrim Harmonizers. After I went to service and came out of the service, that's when I ran into Opie Reese. And many times he and I would walk up and down Michigan Avenue on Records Row, and all of the recording studios was down on Records Row at that time. Chess and you had Jerry Butler they was there. They had the studio. Kirktown was down there. They had a number of different studios down there. Well, as we go to these different studios and go up in there and talk to a number of the different studio heads about recording with their label, we couldn't get a record deal. So I said to Reese, I said, well, Reese, you guys have already have a number one hit records out. I said, we need to start our own label. And that's what we did. We started the One Way Records label.
Yeah.
And he got a number of groups. We recorded that album, Who, with the Southern Phase. Actually, we was the first one that recorded that with him. They re-recorded it over, but we did that. We did Strangers in the City with Sammy Cheatham.
Right.
We did that record, and finally it came to your group, and that's how your group came to us, and then we worked out the terms and said, well, hey, you're gonna be working with the Salem Travelers. We got the contract. We went in the studio. We laid down the track. Only thing I wished at that time I had been on the other side of the board doing the mixing, but everything tended to turn out, fairly okay. Thanks to the audience, they went out and they began to buy copies of it, and even to this very day, I mean, you guys had already traveled all over the country.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you had a name.
We did. Yeah, it was. At first, it was like a lot different than now.
Yeah, right.
The hotels wasn't available. All hotels and motels wasn't available for us. But now, before the other guys had passed on, we was able to start living in
a little bit better situations.
None of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, man, that's incredible.
I'm thankful for Chester, Dave, Sam, Tom, and Bill for giving me an opportunity to come with the group.
So
I was
Robert,
singing with a group called the Cliffs of Calvary.
That's what I was going to.
James Philp had left, and
the Cliffs of Calvary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had some beautiful songs.
That's what I was saying when the Salem Travelers approached me.
Oh, okay.
And this is what I wanted to do. And I got a chance, and I've enjoyed it. I ain't gonna say every day was Sunday, but I look back and I feel like, hey, I accomplished something.
You did, did, and we are very appreciative of the strides that you guys made back then. So the younger guys coming along now can build on that legacy that you guys laid the foundation.
And this is not concerning too much about what we're talking about, but it's a message that I've been wanting to tell all of the younger groups and some of the older groups that some of them seem to feel if they try to talk you down, that brings them up.
Right.
But no, that is not it. What God got for me
is for me.
It's nothing. You can't have that. And what He got for you, you gonna get it. You don't have to talk about with this group and that group to try to make them look. It don't make you look better. It makes you look silly.
Right.
So,
bad mouth.
If you can't say nothing about them good, just don't say nothing. You can keep that other negative to yourself.
Right.
That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, I echo that.
Yeah,
I echo that.
But they, I keep hearing them saying, well, they have been or this or that or it's good to be.
Yeah. We also, I can remember actually, I go back to a time when I was just maybe 7 or 8 years old, and my dad would have these programs at DuSable High School.
Right.
There.
I remember that.
That was, man,
that was the singing center in those days.
My God. Every Sunday, on Sunday afternoons, if you wanted to go to a program, go to DuSable High School on the south side of Chicago. And that's where it was happening at. You guys would have so many different artists. I remember Julius Cheeks and the Nightingales, the Five Blind Boys.
Yeah.
You just name Archie Brown Lee.
Yeah.
Both sets of the Blind Boys.
Yeah, and it was one up at the time the Blind Boys, they tried to get Chester from us to sing with him because he had that what they like, what a lot of people like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Chester and Dave both of them. They was, and Dave just had so much soul.
Yes, sir, man. Ooh, I learned a lot from both of those guys.
Yeah, yeah,
As a
right.
matter of fact, I learned something from all the guys was older than me. I was the youngest person in the group at the time.
Right, right.
I told his grandson, I learned personality from Chester because, you know, he was the peacemaker in the group.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And, you know,
okay.
and I was kind of like, you know, at first until I learned it from, that's why I loved him so, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I got
yeah,
sick
yeah,
when he
yeah,
passed.
Yeah. Chester was, oh man, he had it together, and I love his spirit.
Yeah, and
He
his
was a
voice.
very humble guy.
Yes, that boy,
Yeah.
you would think about looking at him or something, man.
Yeah, well, all that voice.
I think he bust one of them mics down there at the studio with scrawled in. Yeah, Chester was bad.
He busted my
Yeah, he blew it out or did something. He scrawled up in there and that mic went out. So can't take it.
Won't be able to use this one no more.
Yep.
Yeah, we had some great times, man, back in the day. And,
Yeah, man. And I'm so glad that he got in touch with me. So that's why I got back with you, man.
Yeah. Man. Twan had came to me, and he asked me. He said, "Do you know how to get in touch with Robert DIXON?" I say, "No, I don't. But what we'll do, since my brother James has been with the Stars of Jerusalem for so long, I said, well, I'll try to get in touch with James and see if James can get in touch with him." So time went by, nothing happened, nothing but happened. And then all of a sudden, one day we went out to Chester's wife's house and we talked to her, did a little interview with her, and we still didn't get a number on you. And so just finally a few days ago, Twan called me and say, "You'll never guess what." I said, "What?" He says, "Robert DIXON surfaced. I ran into Robert."
It's Chester's son. They had honored me and Willie Rogers and the Pilgrim Jubilees for the legends that were started off in Chicago.
Okay.
And Rodney was there.
Rodney was there.
And that's how we got back. And I'm happy as I can be.
Yeah, I am too, man. Yeah. I really am. I'm glad that
hopefully from here on, this will work out to be something.
Hopefully we can start something new, man.
Right.
In fact, we had recorded over "The Heaven Is My Goal." Antoine Feemster, Chester's grandson, has just re-recorded it over.
I heard it.
And this boy takes it to a whole
level.
I
heard it in the car.
And I said, "Oh my God!" But you can hear Chester underneath in his voice.
Yep. That's his spirit, man.
That's incredible. It's like that man is talking from the grave.
And amen. And for all the honor that I could ever give him with keeping peace. You know, if you got a group, everybody ain't gonna agree with everything all the time.
Absolutely.
And it don't make them a bad person. It's just life.
Yeah, that's the way life is.
But Chester, he wasn't having that.
Yeah.
He very seldom had much to say, but when
he
all
did
that,
say what he said, that was it.
Man, if he's saying something, this got to be real. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh man, how was it working with the Mighty Clouds?
It was great. It was great, man. They, they had respect for us, and we had respect for them.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, we got along with all the Violent Airs was one of our.
Yeah.
Robert Blair used to say, if they booked the Violent Airs, if they said they didn't want the Salem Travelers, he'd tell them, well, then we can't do it.
He won't be there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy. That's the kind of friend
Robert
he was.
Yeah. He was another man. He was another guy. To me, out of all of the singers out there, Robert Blair just had something that was unique as well.
Right. Yeah. And he loved to hang with the Salem Travelers.
That's
when
right.
We'd be traveling together. He'd be riding over there with us.
Yeah.
Making us laugh.
So now you guys met Cash McCall through chess?
No, I knew Cash from when we had a local group called the Spiritual Jubileers.
Okay.
My cousin Charles that went with the Pilgrim Jubilee, Charles Green.
Okay.
We all had a group together, and Cash, his brother Hall, Henry Hall, he brought him to our rehearsal, and we met him through that.
Oh, that's
then
how
he introduced the Charles to the Pilgrim Jubilees, and but then he started working for chess.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And so you guys, so he helped produce some of the stuff with Monk.
Yeah. Cash did. Yeah.
So I know that he was with the group and did a lot of. You could see a lot of his signature in the stuff that you guys were doing.
Yep.
So we just here just kicking it today. Me and Robert Dixon, my main man.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Back from the day, man. I will always remember you. You always had that real soulful voice, too.
Thank you.
Being the younger member of the group, man, you had, wow, your voice was so powerful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I can't wait to do something else with you again, man.
Hey, man.
You know, now.
Let's make it work.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that, Robert.
I'm sure interested.
Thank you so
All
much,
right,
man,
God bless
for
you.
all of the days of good work, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And we thank the engineers that made this possible. We thank all of you out there. Go out and get that record. Heaven is my goal.
Every day, not one on just one, every.
Heaven is.